Hello and welcome to Water Within Astrology. My name is Carly. We are here today to talk about the Sagittarius full moon occurring on the last day of the month, making this a blue moon, meaning this is the second full moon in 1 month. It's happening on May 31st at 4:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it could be happening on Saturday night, depending on where you're located in the world. So, for us here in the States on Eastern Standard Time, it's happening on a Sunday. So, the sun rules over Sunday. That is infusing this Sagittarius full moon, which we all know Sagittarius is a fire sign. It is the last fire sign, and therefore the most mature fire sign. And I am not here to tell everyone that Sagittarius is a very mature archetype because, let's face it, Sagittarius is the wild one, right? It's the archetype most associated with freedom and wildness and regeneration and with everlasting life because it's the flame that never goes out. It is the sign after Scorpio, after we've experienced whatever death that Scorpio put us through, whatever purging that happened at the last full moon. We now are here at this next full moon, and we are coming back to life. We are the Phoenix rising with Sagittarius, and we are hopefully feeling that after what we've been through last month, technically this month, right? It was at the beginning of May that we had that full moon in Scorpio. And so now we're seeing in just 1 month how much transformation has occurred, how much we are coming back to life, how much we are acknowledging the truth of our situation, because Sagittarius is very associated with truth, and we will get into how much truth it's going to serve us in just a moment when we start to talk about the aspects. But so Sagittarius is mutable fire. Mutable meaning changeable. And after we had the Scorpio fixed water energy, we are now being able to really let whatever came up change us. Because Scorpio is fixed water, but she is about transformation on a soul level. And Sagittarius is now ready to let the fire burn away what was no longer serving us. The fire purifies us, and it brings about our true essence, right? The part of us, like I said, that fire that never goes out, like our essence that cannot be touched. It cannot even be burned away by fire, right? It is fire, and it is that soul flame, or that spark of life, if you will, which is all fire signs, right? But this Sagittarius fire sign is the last one, and so we've been through transformations. We have been through ego deaths, and we have been through the other fire signs are very much associated with ego, and Sagittarius can be like, because it has been through so much and learned so much, it can be that arrogance archetype too. It can be very much associated with the pastor and with preachy energy, and again pointing at truth, but whose truth is true, and wanting to assert our truth onto others, and looking at what some would say is objective truth, and whether or not that even exists. I think that's going to be a big moment here, where we are looking at, do any of us have an objective truth to hold on to for stability? Because at this point in our journey, on our human journey through this crazy, wonderful life, we are seeing that there's a lot of information. There's a lot of people using their voices, and people speaking their truth, with the power of the internet. and with the power of freedom of speech, right? Like we're all very much exercising that freedom of speech, whether or not it's factual or not. And so with the dilution of information, like with the surplus and this like overwhelming amount of information, it can be very difficult for us to know what's real, what's true for us. And so there's a big moment here at this full moon where we're really starting to understand what our truth is, and we are using discernment on a new level, and we are also tuning into that spiritual knowing that we all have within us, that like north node compass, that true north that we all can lean into right now, that we'll see because this full moon is squaring the nodes of the fate, the nodes of fate. And so that means the north node in Pisces and the south node in Virgo. North node Pisces is saying trust the unseen, trust your inner knowing, trust your feelings, trust your intuition. And the south node in Virgo says let go of what you thought it was going to look like, and let go of all the imperfections and all the like logical parts of it that don't make sense, and let go of shame, let go of judging yourself and judging others, and let go of whatever stuff is in the way of our joy right now, because Sagittarius is also very much about joy and freedom, and like I said, just wanting everyone to have a good time, to be living in their highest timeline, because Jupiter is the planet that rules Sagittarius. Jupiter is wanting everyone to be protected. It wants everyone to be taken care of, and everyone to feel abundant, everyone to feel optimistic, right? Very much a Sagittarius word, optimism. So let us feel this moment of like the light at the end of the tunnel after the Scorpio, and I say this every time I talk about Sagittarius, it is the Phoenix rising. So hopefully we can feel that and tap into that, because whatever we all went through with that Scorpio stuff was real. I don't need to get into all the horrible stuff that has come out in the past month about all the stuff. You guys know. If you're watching this, you are aware of the attacks that are on nature and on the divine feminine and on us as people. And anyways, so we are fighting a spiritual battle, and we are armed now with truth of our own, and that is the greatest protection, right? No one can take that from us. No one can take our truth from us. No one can take that essence from us. Nothing can touch it. It is impenetrable and invincible, like truly. And so remember that's alive in you, and to take up your sword, if you must, in a way that is fighting for what's good, for what's true, what's gonna protect everyone, right? Like I said, Jupiter wants everyone to be taken care of. And so we have a trine to Saturn and Neptune in Aries, and so this is pointing to that Aries energy, that warrior archetype that has now freshly come, both of them have freshly come into Aries just this year. And so this is a beginning of a long journey of Saturn being there for 2.5 years and Neptune being there for 7 years. So we have a new archetype of the warrior because of these two outer planets in Aries. These are infusing the Aries archetype with a spiritual essence with Neptune, and with a long-term discipline, karmic stuff, right? That's Saturn. And so the warrior looks different now. And the warrior within us is being activated by these two archetypes, this discipline and this dreaminess, this spiritual, unconditional love of Neptune. And there's a supportive trine. So let this be what we've learned. And, you know, we've been working with a lot of Aries energy, and we've been working with this archetype since the beginning of the year, and we're quite maybe familiar now with the new version of ourselves that is coming into being, that we are starting this journey on. And we're getting to know this new person. We're getting to know that they are not the same person that they used to be, you know? And that's a good thing. This is moving on. And this is starting over, right? Aries is the first sign. Starting over and letting go of what has really, you know, like completely expired from who we are. Like, this is just simply not who we are anymore. And that's okay. And that can come with grief, and it can come with whatever it comes with, right? Like, we have been grieving. We had a lot of water as well that has washed away a lot of stuff. And have we still been clinging? We looked at that with Scorpio too. What have we still been clinging to? Now it's time, you know? And now the Phoenix rising moment is here, and we are hopefully able to feel those shackles of the past and whatever shame and whatever, you know, whatever it has been. The conditioning, the you know, normalized ways of being that are just completely, they don't make any sense to us anymore. And, you know, with Aries, it's asking us to take action. And then with Saturn there, it's asking us to make sure that that action is going to benefit us in the long term. So we're really needing to think before we act, and to, like, our impulses are kind of tapered down by that Saturn, and, you know, they're softened. The anger that Aries can have is softened by Neptune. And there's a forgiveness aspect there, like around our wounds, because we still also have Chiron in Aries at 29 degrees, big deal, which is making a sextile to Mercury. So we're really reprogramming the mind with whatever wounding we've been dealing with, all the abandonment stuff, all the masculine stuff, all the, like, needing to prove ourselves, needing to fight for our right to live and just simply be who we are. All of that now is sextile Mercury, which is like, we might have just now been able to actually think about it logically and actually understand it on a conscious level, because it was so deep before, you know, it was hidden. And a lot of that hidden stuff has come up and been shooken up with Scorpio. And so here it is. This Pandora's box is open. And, you know, there's also a sextile from the moon to Pluto. And Pluto is in Aquarius. And that's reminding us, too, that whatever masks that we wore for the past 20 years, I know I sound like a broken record because I say the same things over and over again, but this is long-term transits that we're working with. This is not just a one and done thing with Pluto, never. But we are really letting that mask drop that we had on for so long with Pluto and Capricorn. Now in Aquarius, we're saying, who are you really underneath? Let your freak flag fly. You guys, let me say it again for you guys in the back. Let your freak flag fly. Let it be seen out in the greater community. You know, that's Aquarius. And Aquarius can feel like the freak. Even when it does show itself to the community, even when it does show up to try to contribute, it can feel like no one ever understands But the flip side of that is that when we do show up in community and we do collaborate and we do show up authentically as who we truly are, that is going to be rewarded in the grander scheme of things. And it is going to be validated too, because when we come together with other people, we are, having those conversations. Sun in Gemini, Sun in Uranus in Gemini. Those conversations are where we connect again, and we find out that we're not the only one who feels this way, and we're not the only one who's been hurt, and we're not the only one who's been struggling. We're not the only one. And this like feeling of aloneness that might have been coming up with all that Aries stuff, like feeling like very alone, all that gets to be, told that no, you're not alone. And Sagittarius and Gemini both, like, these are two archetypes that just want to be like everybody's bestie, and everyone's like, wanting to connect, wanting to sit around a fire. I think of Sagittarius as sitting around a campfire and singing Kumbaya. Like, let this full moon be something like that for you, and let it be something, if you don't have access to that, like, go out and take a risk and do something, like go to a festival by yourself, or go to a class by yourself, or show up for something that you resonate with. This is your soul calling and your soul's purpose here in this lifetime. Show up by yourself if you have to. Just show up and let that be, let the new people come to you, and let the new connections form, and let yourself be a beginner, and let yourself be alone for just a minute. Know that that is temporary. Mutable fire, changeable. Everything is changeable. We are changing out of that fixed energy that we might have felt like, we're never going to get out of this hole. Like, we're never gonna get out. We can never get ahead. There might have been some big energy like that. But now we're seeing that that was also temporary. And I'm here to tell you right now, everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. Everything. Bad things, good things, everything. So let's take advantage of this moment here in time, because Jupiter is the ruling planet of this full moon. Like I said, it rules over Sagittarius. Where is Jupiter right now in the sky? It's in its favorite place, which is Cancer. And Cancer is about safety, and about connection, and about emotional safety, emotional intelligence. Maybe the intelligence part is the Gemini stuff, but we're very much like being asked to expand our emotional capacity, our emotional awareness, and, like trusting this intuition, this moon, Cancer. The moon rules over Cancer, and the moon is about intuition, about the subconscious. And so, lots of family stuff could be coming up right now, because we have Jupiter and Venus, both benefic planets, both planets that bring good things, bringing up that stuff from our family stuff, bringing up whatever conditioning that we still have yet to rise above. And because that's what Jupiter wants us to do, is rise above it, rise higher, go higher, learn more. Like, learning more takes us higher with Jupiter. And so we're learning more about what our emotions are telling us, and we're seeking connection more and more. And we're seeking connection with ourselves too, right? Because we all have heard it before. We are not going to have good relationships with others if we don't have a good relationship with ourselves. So once again, this is an inside job, but I'm definitely never going to be the one to invalidate people based on, Like, you just need to be alone and, like, suck it up and, deny your innate need, physiological need for touch and for human connection. And for that is what your brain is wired for. So please do not ever forget that, and don't let any spiritual bypassing bullshit condition you to think that you can just be good on your own, because none of us are good on our own. That's why solitary confinement is the number one punishment for criminals. Point blank. We are wired for connection, but we cannot seek connection in places that harm us, that are not safe, and places that we are self-sacrificing, all that Aries, in places where we still have to hold a mask up. Pluto and Aquarius. We're done holding a mask. We're done waiting for people to come save us. The mask is Aquarius. The people to come save us is the Aries. And then we have the Sag. We're seeing that there is a true need for us to have connection. There is a true need that none of us can deny. Like, sorry. That's like somebody being like, I don't need to eat food. Yes, you do, homie. I don't care if you think that's your truth. There is an objective truth here that you are a human that needs other humans. And no, that's not weak. No, that's not feminine, or like, this whole thing with all these Aries things that we've been dealing with for the past freaking 3 months has been longer than that, right? With Chiron and Aries, that's been since 2018. We've been dealing with the wounds of the masculine since 2018, seeing how freaking demented it is for men to think that they can't feel feelings because that makes them less of a man. When in actuality, the real men are secure enough to feel feelings. They are secure enough to go against what the normal standards of what a man is supposed to be like. That's the hottest thing ever. That's the most masculine thing ever, is for them to just do what's right, even if it's not popular, and even if it's not what society deems to be masculine. And that's going for everybody, right? Like, this is not just talking about men. Yes, we have a big focus on male bodies and the masculine right now. But this toxic masculinity is alive in all of us, and it's been thrust upon us, literally, no pun intended, through society, through conditioning, through so much, man. So much. And that's that Gemini part, is we, especially with Uranus and Gemini, we are finally seeing where these mindsets are, where they have even come from. Like, we're seeing it now for the first time, even, that they exist inside of us. For instance, having men be part of a religious frame of structure, right? Like, with Christianity being intrinsically weaved in with the American politics. I can only speak for me here in America, but I know America was founded on Christianity, and Christianity has been, it's the same. Like, patriarchy and Christianity is the same. I am here to tell you. So what has that really made us all believe is that men are the savior. Men, being Jesus, are the savior, right? We know that was with Christianity. But that is now the government structure, which has also been that this government structure is our savior. Guys, they're not coming. That's the truth. And what happens when we realize that and we fully accept that is that we have that tower moment, right? Which could have been that Scorpio moment, was where everything was destroyed. Everything that we thought we were building our lives upon, any of that stability crumbled like a sand castle on the beach. Completely wiped out. And now we get to rebuild. Now we can really accept the truth into our nervous systems, and we can move on. Because we got to move on. We can't just stay there in the crumbling, in the destruction. We got to move on. We've got to rise higher. Sagittarius says go higher. And so, you know, it starts with us. Saturn and Neptune and Aries, it starts with us. It starts with us, and then we have to then show up in the group as whoever we really truly are. Pluto in Aquarius, we have to show up in the group. And the beauty of Gemini season is that we all get to really, really see the mirrors of the other. Gemini's the twins, this reflection, this close, intimate relationship, right? Brothers, twins. And they are so close that they can't be separated. Even when one of them dies, the other cannot bear it. And so they become constellations together. Anyways, so this reflection that we're seeing in each other is where the real work starts, right? We can do whatever we need to do in our own time and in our own space with our own echo chambers. But once we bring ourselves back into group settings, that's when the real work starts, because we then have something to reflect back to us who we really are. And that can be a great thing, and that can be a horrible thing. So if you're feeling uncomfortable, you're right where you need to be. You're able to look at your own reflection through another. And you have the choice. You have the freedom to make different choices. Gemini says every day you have a choice. What are you going to do? And so, like I said, that Chiron in Aries at 29 degrees, it's going to move back, or it's going to move into Taurus June 19th. So we're at the last few weeks here. And June 19th is also, it's really close to when Jupiter moves into Leo. June 30th. Anyways, so the sun rules Leo, and the sun rules Sunday, which is when this full moon is happening, meaning that I think we need to shine our freak flag, feral girl summer, freak mad loud this full moon. I think it's time to get feral. I think it's time to really let her out, this wild woman, because guess what? Lilith, the Black Moon Lilith, the first wife of Adam, is also in Sagittarius. She's at 18 degrees, and this moon is at 9 degrees. So, Black Moon Lilith, opposite the sun and Uranus. This could be the feral, dark feminine coming out to play, bringing with her sudden shocks and awarenesses around the mind and around our thinking and around our conditioning and around our, in our communications with others, in our relationships with others, in our reflections with others. So that's that. That could be a lot of things. I think the feminine is feeling like she deserves vindication and she deserves revenge and she deserves, justice, and rightfully so. All of us, even men included, the feminine inside of all of us is raging with grief, asking for retribution. And what does that look like? What does that really look like? Because for me, it looks like going to this yoga retreat this weekend, embracing whatever comes up, deep emotions. I know it's going to come up, and normally I'm really worried about going to these types of things because I know I'm going to cry in public. I am so ready to cry in public. I am so ready for this container so that I can fully process what has all been happening in a safe way, in a healthy way, using yoga, using sound, using the beautiful, ancient technologies that are free. I know a festival isn't free, but and I know the sound stuff isn't free, but yoga is free, okay? So no excuses. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. I think now is time to really look at what freedom means for all of us, because I think we're being freed from the shackles of our own mind, from whatever conditioning stories that we are still telling ourselves, right? Like, we are the ones reinforcing it. We are our own captors in a lot of times. And so, just recognizing what stories we are telling ourselves, what programs are running in the background that we are not even aware of. Yeah. So I say, go feral. What do you have to lose at this point? I know that's not the healthiest mentality, but I need you to know that you have nothing to lose by being yourself. You have everything to gain by being your true, authentic self. You have everything to gain by reclaiming the feral, wild essence that is within you before it dies out. Which, like we said, it never will. But if some of us are experiencing a crash out, a burnout right now, that's okay, baby girl. Me too. Which is why I'm going to take this time to retreat. Sagittarius rules travel. It rules, traveling to new places is very stimulating to the mind because it creates a nuance in our life. And it breaks us out of that mundane. It breaks us out of whatever, it reminds us and it expands our perspective and says, there is more to this life than just the everyday stuff that you've been going through the motions with, or you've been, I always encourage us to take, happiness and joy and pleasure in the little things in life. I'm a Virgo moon. I kind of have to. Otherwise it will steal my joy completely. But, Sagittarius reminds us too, there is more. Take those blinders off and whoa, there's a whole world out here of possibilities. What's the story that you're going to write? What's the story that you're already writing? You can change it. You can make it anything you want. Isn't that exciting? That's so exciting. And so What's it going to be? Trine to Saturn and Neptune, having the discipline to make your dream come true. Sextile to Pluto and Aquarius, knowing that you don't have to do it alone. That power is with the people. Power is in the people. And we are all co-creators of this reality. We can manifest our own reality all day long. We can make it however we want. There is still a big world out there. There is still the part of the equation that a lot of us want to pretend like doesn't exist is like, what about the rest of us? We all have to get on the same page here, whether we like it or not. But that is what has to happen in order for us to start moving into, like, I know we're already here in New Earth. We discussed this last video where New Earth is here. It starts now. But we all got to get on that same page for it to be the wave that we need it to be, right? And it will. It starts small. And then this domino effect, right? That's what we want with Pluto and Aquarius. And we have 20 years to deal with that, right? Like at this point we have like 18 years, but patience. So, yeah. Saturn's just getting started in Aries, rebuilding the structures. Give it time. So what have we been procrastinating? Because Sagittarius can be kind of wishy-washy sometimes too, where it's pointing its arrow and then it's maybe over here, switching gears, and then it's over here, and then it's here. We have to lock in with Sag. Lock the fuck in, especially with it being opposite Gemini. Gemini is that ADHD brain, y'all. I know. We all have it at this point. We all have been exposed to these technologies that have definitely, on purpose, made us all ADHD. Sorry to break it to you. That's another truth bomb. But yeah, so we gotta hone in. No more denying that that's not part of the equation. We can see it. Let's do something about it. Let's lock in. What have you been procrastinating on? And what have you just been talking about doing and not putting any actual effort in? We all have them. I have them. You have them. Let's just get real. Do the thing. Your life is passing you by. Everything is temporary. Do the thing. That's all I gotta say about that. What really big message that has come through too about this energy is like, I'm really thinking about this dichotomy between Aries and Aquarius, right? Because Aries is the single person, the individual. Aquarius is the individual in the large collective. So the Aries part of it has been needing for us to go in to know who we really are, go inward. Even though Aries is a very outward, like penetrative energy, it's been calling us into ourselves deeper, to look at our wounds associated with who we are, our own personal wounds. Don't worry about anybody else. Just focus on you and yours right now. And, there's been a really beautiful process of getting to know who we are now. And then when we take that and we also take that time and we feel that true connection to ourselves, and when I say connection to ourselves, connection to that divine spark, that part of us that is divine, that we can only really truly get to know is if we isolate ourselves. But we're not really isolated. We're taking that time so that it's just me and God, me and that spark, me and that essence, so I can truly meet it. And then we have that established, when we go into the collective and we move out into that Pluto and Aquarius, and we realize that when we all come together, if we've all done that work to connect with our source, with ourselves on our own, if we all had that, what would it look like? If we all had a collective of people that understand that they are divine, and they understand that you can stay connected to that divine source of abundance, that ever-flowing abundance all the time. What would society look like if we all understood that truly on a soul level? We have Jupiter and Venus coming into a conjunction with each other on June 9th. So shortly after this full moon, 9 days. This is considered the luckiest day of the year because these are both benefic planets bringing good fortune. What we all objectively agree to be good things. So, like, this could be we just need to go ahead and put it out there first and foremost. That could be a very fertile day. Be careful. Especially if you have big Cancer placements. We are gonna not let up on that. If that's, if you want to get pregnant. Set it up on June 9th and get your baby, girl, boy, whatever. Get your baby. If you're not looking for a baby, this is your warning. You've been warned. So, it's very fertile energy because Cancer is the mother, both of them in Cancer. Jupiter is Zeus. What did he do in mythology? He went around impregnating people a lot. So let's just, and we could just be feeling so safe and so connected and so divine and so, like, the love maybe that we're experiencing through others is just feeling so divine and so, like, it's connecting us not only to this other person but to God itself. And that's the Jupiter bit too. And, like, there could be massive awakenings that are occurring because of the work that we're doing with other people, the relationships. Like, these could be really, really healing and beautiful and, just completely, just bliss. Like, so much overwhelming bliss that it spills out of our eyes. And it's, emotional, and it's beautiful, and it's vulnerable, and it's... It's one of the reasons life is worth living, is this feeling of connection and safety that we all need. I don't care if you have Cancer placements or not. So when I say that Cancer is the need, and it is this primal need to connect, it is talking about the bond that we all share with the mother from which we came from. So we all have a mother that birthed us one way or another. Whatever happened after that, there could be karma coming up around that story. We just had Mother's Day too, so lots of these themes coming up. We have that primal need to connect because we were once connected, and that is everyone's truth, not just, people can deny that truth. But at the end of the day, we all came from a mother. We all had a mother. We all have a need to feel connected like we once were. We all have Cancer in our chart somewhere. So, maybe checking out where you have that, where you have Sagittarius, where you have 9 degrees of Sagittarius or 9 degrees of Gemini. These are all places that are going to be activated. Looking at the house, looking at what degrees you've got stuff at. If you need help looking at your chart, I am more than open to help you with that, and I would love to do a reading for you. Please message me on my email if you would like, waterwithinyoga@gmail.com. Let's feel like we're giving ourselves permission to really set ourselves free. Because we know where, by this point, I think we all know where we are still clinging on to the old, and we are still operating out of systems that they don't work anymore. Maybe they never did. One way or another, we're seeing the truth of it all. And, onwards and upwards. Let's move on. Let's get past this so that we can do better, and we can go higher, and we can feel lighter, and we can access more joy, and we can access that feeling of divine protection and divine, like, that supply, that divine supply. Like, we're all fiending for that divine supply at this point. But just knowing, because, like, Sagittarius can be very much escapist too, right? And the square to the nodes, that square to Pisces, could very much be like we're dealing with more addiction stuff that's we're probably sick and tired of it by this point with the North Node in Pisces, because we've been looking at that shit. Pardon me. And, up until the end of July, we're still going to be dealing with that. So we're almost there. But let's not let the freedom, feral girl summer take us into those deep, dark, addiction, escapist qualities, right? Because we already know. We already know. That last new moon in Taurus was about taming the beast and about looking really strongly at our desires and our stubbornness around those desires. Like, it's like I just fucking want to do this, so I'm gonna do it. I don't care if it's bad for me. It makes me happy. That can be something we're dealing with. So let's be patient with ourselves, but let's also do what we need to do. We know what we need to do. We know. And so yeah, I think that's about all I have here for this one. It's kind of a shorter one, flying by the seat of my pants. Barely having time to record these, but I'm super grateful for anyone who's watching and for anyone who has supported this channel, and just thank you for being here. I'm gonna keep being here as long as I can be. So I'm back here now in my space after a long day, and I wanted to make sure and draw a card in a rune for you guys because I know I missed it last new moon as well. So we're gonna draw from the Kuan Yin deck because she is the goddess of compassion. All right, Kuan Yin, goddess of compassion, divine feminine in all her forms. What card do we need for this Sagittarius full moon collective reading here on YouTube? Alright. 10 Sisters of Light. You have been here before, lived many lifetimes. Your soul has learned skills in past lives and developed abilities and talents. It is time to reawaken and reclaim those past life gifts. Kuan Yin's grace and protection and assistance help you now to release past life wounds so that you may bring past life powers to aid your present life purpose. Yes, beautiful. That's very North Node Pisces coded. North Node Pisces, remembering who we are before this life and who we will be again when this life ends. That source. And so, yeah, we need to bring our unique gifts. Pluto and Aquarius, our powerful uniqueness, and bring it out into the world to be seen. And there's 10 of them, so it's like people, groups of people, like energy there. Anyways. Okay, which rune do we need now? Okay, beautiful. Fehu, cattle, livestock, and wealth. Thank God. I know we're all feeling the money stuff after last Taurus new moon, and the money has been crazy, and our self-worth journey is really still being highlighted. And with the wealth and with the self-worth, we are really feeling like abundance is available to us, and we are remembering what it looks like to really be connected to that source. And we are imagining that even if we aren't there yet, we're using the power of the mind to imagine it and to know and take refuge in knowing that Jupiter and Venus, both benefic planets, both planets that bring good fortune, literally and emotionally, fortune. Let this conjunction on June 9th be beneficial to everyone and bring in what we all probably are really feeling that we need. This is a need for us at this point, not just a want, and we want to feel alive. We want to feel like we're not just moving through the motions, like we want to be out of survival mode and into thriving. So let us be open to receive those blessings and know that they are coming, and know that we are worthy of receiving them. And that is really the big thing that we're working through. The patriarchy has wanted us to think that we do not deserve good things and that we have to work for them. We have to overwork for them. We have to self-sacrifice. We have to play small. We have to this and that and this and that. No. We are all entitled at birth to a wonderful, joy-filled, abundant life. That's the last truth bomb that I'm going to drop on you, and we will see you in 2 weeks for the Gemini new moon.